As I said last month in my State of the State message, moving quickly on this $38 million plan will allow us to proceed with greater certainty on the tremendous fiscal challenges that we're facing. The effort obviously goes beyond the next fiscal year's budget. If we can achieve state government efficiencies now, we'll realize even greater savings in the future. And that's essential because the effects of this recession are going to continue for a few more years. In fact, today, my administration will be releasing the revenue figures for January, and they've come in about $5.5 million below the most recent revenue forecast. That's approximately 4.5% below where we expected to be, and you'll recall that at this very table, less than a month ago, we revised them downward. So that underscores the fact that we're still in very uncertain territory from a fiscal and economic standpoint, and emphasizes the need to take important steps to right our fiscal condition as quickly as we possibly can. Also today, you may have heard that the White House issued a report that projects that the national unemployment rate will remain near 10% for the balance of this year, and probably stay above 6% for the next 5 years. So we can't take our eyes off the need to encourage job creation and economic growth in Vermont. We've got to make the necessary reductions in state spending. We've got to improve efficiency. We've got to set clear priorities. These are all important to balancing our budget and addressing the persistent fiscal challenges that we're facing. But the ultimate solution will be found in growing our tax base and ensuring that Vermonters have access to good jobs that pay good wages. Last month, many of you were with us up in South Burlington when I stood with the Senate leaders and Lieutenant Governor to announce a jobs bill that would direct $8 2/3 million from the federal recovery dollars for critical economic development needs. And that proposal includes money for workforce training, has help for our farmers to purchase seeds and other operational needs for the spring planting season, funding for capital for companies all across the state through VITA, support for our tourism businesses, and funds to help us reach our e-state goals by supporting the broadband program to get to the nooks and crannies of our state that are so hard to provide service to. I understand that the Senate Economic Development Committee may take it up today, may be acting on that bill and get it out of committee. I certainly hope that the legislature will act as quickly as possible, especially before the town meeting break, because the training dollars are necessary for a number of companies whose contracts will begin on the 1st of March. And the program will be out of money at that point unless we get this appropriation through in the jobs bill. So we got to get that money out. These dollars were appropriated by the Congress, as you know, nearly a year ago, and they have not been appropriated by the General Assembly. So it's critically important that we get this $8.67 million out the door, creating jobs, moving our economy forward as quickly as we possibly can. I also hope that the legislature will listen to the testimony that the Economic Development Committee heard over this past week from business leaders across Vermont who are calling for a rollback of the capital gains and the state tax changes that were imposed by the legislature last year. We've got to make our state more competitive economically. If we're going to avoid a slow and halting recovery, we've got to have a competitive tax burden and provide incentives for creating more jobs. So I want to thank the Senate for its work on the Challenges for Change bill. That's an important first step toward fiscal stability and responsibility during the fiscal 2011 budget. That's an encouraging and important step forward, but there's obviously a lot more to do to address the fiscal and economic challenges that are facing our state and indeed all the people of Vermont.